Hello, I'm Jordia Benjamin, Merkin Senior Coordinator of Programs and Audience Engagement at Colby College Museum of Art in Waterville, Maine. This is Artful Movements. Artful Movements is a part of the museum's wellness initiative under the larger program, Let Art Inspire. In this program, we select a work of art from our collection and we pair it with a yoga pose. Now, before we begin the yoga portion of this program, let's first visit the artwork that has inspired this month's theme, Time to Face Yourself. Today, we look at the work of Glenn Lygon, Palindrome No. 1, 2007.
Best known for his provocative text paintings, Glenn Lygon questions the identities we assume in a consistently shifting social-political world. While true palindrome embodies directional equality, reading the same forward and backwards, Lygon presents only loose symmetry in Palindrome 1. In Palindrome No. 1, white neon words cast shadows and illuminate a message in simple script. Lygon speaks directly to the viewer through this piece, challenging his audience to confront our pre-existing perceptions of domestic identity and place in society. The phrase, "face me, I face you," refers to a style of low-rent Nigerian housing where a cluster of bedroom entrances all face each other. The reference asks us to consider how the politics of space governs our social and racial interaction, and that the very act of facing exposes the relative character of spatial and political power. The writer, James Baldwin, a frequent touchstone for Lygon, once observed as much, stating, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." Tadasana, mountain pose. Mountain pose is the foundation for all of the standing postures. The benefits of the mountain pose are: it improves posture stability and promotes confidence. It strengthens the knees, the thighs, and the ankles. Tadasana may not look like much, but keeping your body active and aligned is hard work. You have to be aware of each part of your body and the role it plays in stacking your bones and keeping your spine long. Even though the artwork and the yoga pose may appear to look like a simple task, the artwork asks the audience to face themselves and others, while the yoga pose allows participants to strive towards a balanced state of one's body and consciousness, facing one's inner self. In an age where we move quickly from one thing to the next, learning how to be strong, steady, and unwavering like a mountain is beneficial for our mental, physical, and spiritual health. Palindrome No. 1 asks us to stand still and face our pre-existing perception of domestic identity and our place in society.
Now, let's visit our partners at School Street Yoga who will lead us in our yoga practice.
Hello, welcome to School Street Yoga. I'm Kathleen Haberstock, and very glad to be doing this collaboration with Colby Art Museum. So you were just looking at a piece of art that certainly has a message, and that palindrome No. 1, it's almost confrontational in a sense. It confronts you. Face me, I face you. Very much in some ways a yogic message. And you'll find in your practice, as you go inward, little by little, you're able to let go of constructs that you have in your mind about who you are. And the art piece reminds me of a particular Zen Buddhist story, which I'll tell you. But as I'm going to begin to tell it to you, I'd like you to find your comfortable seat, and you might be sitting in a chair, which is great. Have your feet flat on the floor and your spine long. Or you're sitting on the ground and you could have a pillow or a blanket under you, under your hips. And we might just take a few arches of the spine here, inhaling, and then exhale to round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. One more like that. And round on an exhale. And then come back up to center. And just rest the hands on the thighs, palms face up or palms face down. Begin to get in touch with the breath. Noticing the inhale, noticing your exhale. Just noticing the natural breath. There's no need to do anything with it yet. Andrew Weiss says, we use mindfulness of breathing as a way to help us stop and truly be here. As we continue to practice mindfulness meditation, our capacity to stop and be present increases. Out of this, we naturally develop deeper concentration and the capacity to look deeply into ourselves or into whatever we encounter. This process of looking deeply is not analytical. It is spontaneous and unstudied. We don't have to figure anything out or make anything happen. All we need to do is to sit, to be aware of our breathing, and allow our concentration and mindfulness to penetrate whatever comes along. So as you're sitting here, breathing, just notice. Notice the inhale, notice the exhale. It can be spontaneous. I love that. It can be spontaneous and unstudied. No need to control the breath right now. And can you get curious as you go inward? And I'm going to tell you a little Zen Buddhist story as you're deepening your breath, going inward, noticing what's true for you in this moment. Is your mind wandering? Is it hard to sit still? Or is it very easy to drop in? So just notice, whatever it is, without judgment. So Andrew Weiss tells this story of his Zen master that he studied with. When his Zen master was young and just beginning his own studies, he heard about an ancient Zen master who became enlightened by just hearing a phrase from a famous Buddhist text called the Diamond Sutra. He heard a phrase from it in the marketplace, and supposedly this man became enlightened from hearing it. So this young Zen master, this student at the time, got fascinated with that, and he found the Diamond Sutra, and he read that same phrase out loud, and he thought that this would make him enlightened. And it didn't work, and he wanted to know what went wrong. So he went to his teacher at the time, and he said, what went wrong here? I read this phrase from the Diamond Sutra. And the Zen master said, show me the line. And this young man said, Well, he read it out loud again. He had already read it once, and so he read it out loud again. And the Zen master said, no, show me the line. And then he really thought that the old Zen master was losing his mind or something, and so he started to show the Zen master the line in the book. And the Zen master slammed the book on his finger, slammed it shut, looked him right in the face, and he said to him, no, show me, right? And then he said, who are you? Had slammed the book on the student's finger, got right in his face, and said, who are you? So kind of a confrontational, a little bit. And this was a big learning moment for this student. And the teacher was pointing out to him that he had to develop insight by examining himself and the world directly, that the layers of concepts and assumptions were blocking the way. Who are you? So just as you're sitting there, continuing to breathe deeply, continuing to go inward and notice what's true for you in this moment, for your body. There might be tension, there might be something in the way of you sitting comfortably, just noticing what's true, noticing the mind. But come to this idea, who are you? Ask yourself that. Who am I? All of these mental constructs, all they tell us is how we have chosen to identify ourselves. They are just mental constructs. But what do they have to do with your deeper reality of your own being? Take away all the words and labels. And then who are you? So you might have labels such as male, female. You might have labels or something non-binary. You may have all different constructs that you wear at different times. Sister, brother, mother, father, friend. You might have a job that you identify with. But underneath all of that, who are you? And then he goes on to say, this Zen master, that the idea, as you go inward and ask that question, the idea, I don't know, could surface. You might not know. And that's a very valid answer. That's where the investigation might begin. Andrew Weiss actually encourages you to say, I don't know, even if it makes you uncomfortable. In my experience, he says, that answer really does short circuit our labels and constructs and can give us, even if just for one moment, a direct, unvarnished encounter with the present moment. So just a few more breaths there. Who am I? Who are you? Yoga can allow us to peel away these different constructs as we go inward. Who are you at your essence? Who are you at your core of your being? What is even a human being? What is it? If you come to that, you take away every layer and you get down to human being. What is a human being? Andrew Weiss asks that question. What is a human being? I don't know. Might be the answer for the moment. I don't know. Drawing palm against palm at heart center, please. Feel the beating of your own heart. Bow your head to this mystery. This mystery inside of you. Because within that not knowing allows for possibility, allows for spontaneity. And throughout this class, I invite you to come back to this idea. This investigation within. One more big inhale through the nose. Let it go out the mouth, please. Just allow your hands to come down. We're going to bring fingertips to the ground. And I really invite you throughout class to make the breath as important as the movement. So now we're just going to begin lifting the arms on the inhale till they touch above you perhaps, and then exhaling, lowering the arms, and chin can lower. And just continuing this, you might grow the breath here. Inhaling, arms up, exhaling, arms down. And you can really follow the breath. So at the bottom of the exhale, the fingertips touch down. And then at the top of the inhale, the fingertips might touch. No rush to get there at all, but next time arms are overhead, we're going to twist to the right. You can bring your left hand onto your right leg. And just allow the eyes to gently close. And on your next inhale, chin comes over front shoulder. And on your exhale, it comes back. Next time chin is reaching back towards the back shoulder, inhale, reach the arms up, and we'll exhale to the other side. Twisting, inhale might make the spine elongate even more upward. Exhale, twist a little deeper. On your next inhale, eyes can close or gaze to the floor and reach the chin forward. Exhale it back. Next time chin is reaching back, we'll inhale, draw the arms up to center, and exhale, release back to center. Let's walk the hands forward for a moment, and then fingertips on the floor. Inhale, arch the spine, exhale, round. Inhale, arch, exhale, round. One more like that. Exhale, round. Stay rounded for just a moment. You might sway the spine slightly. And then allow your hands to walk you back up to center. So we'll find our way to standing, and we'll come into our pose, mountain pose. So finding feet, either hips width distance. In fact, let's all start with hips width distance and just see what that feels like. You might feel very steady with feet hips width distance. And this might be the best way for you to stand in mountain pose, Tadasana. You want to feel the strength of the mountain in this pose. Another way to stand in the pose is big toes touching, and you can see what that feels like. And that might feel a little wobbly. And if it does, then have feet hips width distance. But whether you're standing hips width or feet together, we're going to lift all 10 toes, spread them, and then see what that does to the legs. You might feel an activation through the legs. I feel a little lift in my kneecaps and even in my lower belly, so see what you feel. And then let the toes go, but keep that activation in the legs. Just imagine that the ceiling was low and that you were reaching your head up, pressing it into the ceiling. And see if that helps you to lengthen the spine at all. Your palms can be face forward or facing you. So very much this pose, in a sense, is facing yourself. You are truly yourself in this pose. Like you're showing the world who you are. So for a moment, shrug your shoulders up to your ears and then roll them down your back and let them slide down the back. Allow the front body to be open. The heart is open here. It's a little bit vulnerable. You're not able to close off. You need to have yourself open. But then soften the heart. Allow it to be a little soft. And by that I mean also letting the upper ribs soften. So rather than jutting the chest forward, you're letting a little softening happen in the body. There's a lot going on in this pose. The legs are still active, the lower belly's hugging in, kneecaps are lifted. It's very alert and attentive. But there's also an ease in this pose. Can you feel the ease? You might close your eyes for a moment and just notice what it's like to balance there with eyes closed. It might be a little challenging. Can you still feel an easefulness even with the eyes closed? And the answer right now might be no, but it can be fun to play with. And then if the eyes were closed, just let them softly open. So we're going to use yoga blocks here. And if you don't have yoga blocks, you could use a thick book as long as it's not too heavy. I'm going to use 2 yoga blocks. And if you have them at home, that's great. And if not, don't worry about it. You're going to bring 1 block, or if it's a book, the narrow way. And that's going to go between your thighs. So in Tadasana, the legs aren't just hugging together. The inner thighs are rolling back. So it would be as if this block would shoot out behind you. So just allow that action in the legs. So not only Are you lifting the toes and spreading them, and then lowering the toes but keeping kneecaps lifted? Inner thighs rolling back. Hug the lower belly in and the tailbone drops, and be here. And see what that feels like. Who are you? You're facing yourself here. And then go ahead and grab the other block if you have it. And it's the middle level. It could also be the narrow level, depending on your legs, so you'll see what works for you. And bring it between your calves. So now you've got one block that you're rolling back between the thighs, and then hugging the calves in, the shins in. There's a lot going on in this pose. Iyengar, the yoga teacher, famous yoga teacher, said that you could sweat buckets in this pose, mountain pose, Tadasana. You could be sweating buckets because there's so much going on. And yet it looks so easeful. It's got both ease, it's got some balance because we're kind of balancing on our feet as we notice when we close our eyes. And there's an openness. This pose, Rolf Gates says, can be found in all the other poses. All of these qualities: steadiness, open heart, ease. Taking some full breaths here. Can you feel centered and grounded? Nicely done. Now we're just going to remove those blocks. And then whether big toes are touching or feet are hips width distance apart, we're going to come back to the mountain pose. Can you still feel the action of the legs here even without the blocks? Imagine the blocks are there and feel that action. Rolling in of the upper thighs, hugging in of the shins. Right from here, we're going to inhale, lift our arms up, and then we're just going to see what it's like to lift up on the toes. See what that's like. Breathing there. You might come down, and you might come back up again. What is it like to balance there? And then come back down, allowing arms to come down. So you're going to come into chair, big toes touching, or feet are wide. Let's bend the knees and bring our hands to the knees. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. One more like that. And exhale, round. Finding a flat back so you're not overarching. You can feel your back and there shouldn't be a big arch there. And then hug the lower belly in. And then we'll lift the arms up. You should see your toes over your knees. You should be able to see them as you look down. If you can't see them, sit back a little more. A couple of breaths there. Now we're going to bring hands to heart center. And we're going to play with a little balance. I'm just going to go sideways now so you can see it from the side. We're in our chair pose. Lift that left heel. Lift it up. And then begin to get light in the foot. And then we're going to step that leg back long. You can always take several steps to get there. And then hands to the hips and bend the back knee. Straighten through the back leg and reach the arms up. You're in your high lunge. Can you find mountain pose in this pose? That strength and ease of the mountain. Can you feel a full breath here? Tee out the arms and twist towards that front bent knee. And then we'll take that front hand down and top arm up. Big inhale. Exhale, frame the front foot with your hands. We'll step it back to plank pose. Now in plank pose, high push-up, reach the crown of head forward, reach the heels back. Can you find mountain pose here? Go ahead and drop the knees to the ground. And then chest and chin come forward and down. Scrub through a cobra. And then we'll press back. Widen the knees, bring big toes to touch. Wide knee child's pose. A few big breaths here. You might come to that ocean breath. Slowly in your own time, press your way back up. Inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, round. Coming to neutral in your own time, we'll tuck the toes, lift the hips, come back to down dog. If down dog is too much on your wrists, you could do forearm dog with your forearms down. We'll bring big toes to touch and lift that left leg and bend the left knee. And bring the left foot between the hands. And drop the back knee to the ground. You can bring a blanket under the back knee if that's helpful. We'll bring blocks to frame that front foot and just lift through the heart. Sink the hips forward any amount. Tucking the back toes, we'll inhale here and exhale, straighten the front leg. Inhale, drop the back knee, lift the heart. Exhale, straighten. Follow your own breath here. Next time knee is down, leave it down. Press yourself up to that front thigh. Maybe lifting the arms. A few breaths here, lifting through the heart. Frame the front foot with your hands. Tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. Now we're going to drop that back foot, warrior two foot, and spiral the arms up to warrior two. For a moment, pause here. front heel can bisect the back arch or the back heel. You can bring your back hand on the hip, front hand on the front leg, and then reach the arms out. Look over the front middle finger. Reach as much through back fingers as front fingers. Can you be right at the center of your legs? Can you feel some of the mountain pose in this pose? Some of the ease, openness, and strength. Back hand goes down the back leg, front palm tips up, and tip back, peaceful warrior. And then straighten the front leg and tip forward. Reach, reach, reach it forward before you lower the hand to a block on the outside of the leg or the leg. Roll the top shoulder open and lift the arm. Breathing here. Can you feel any bit of the mountain here? Feet want to draw towards one another for strength and stability. Heart is open. There's both ease and strength and balance. Can you still breathe fully here? Now back hand to the back hip. Look to your front foot. Start to bend the front knee a little. Step the back foot in. We're just going to bring a block about a foot in front of the pinky toe. You can also bring your hand to the floor. Go ahead and step the back foot in and then lift that leg. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Back arm can lift, flex the foot, reach through the heel, reach through the crown of head. Feeling stability, balance, ease, perhaps. And then bending the front knee, tipping back. Reach it back to your warrior two. We'll spiral the arms down and step it forward and hang over the legs. Can you feel the mountain pose in this forward fold? You might grab opposite elbows. You might wrap arms around the legs. There could be a bend to the knees. And then let's all bend the knees and let it roll up, one vertebra at a time. Head is the very last to arrive. When you're upright again, shrug the shoulders up to the ears, big inhale, release them down the back. Feet can be hips width distance, or feet can be big toes touching. Find that mountain pose. Let's bring hands to heart center for a moment. One hand on the heart, the other hand on top. Feel the beating of your heart. You might close the eyes or gaze to the floor. And then releasing the arms by your side. Who am I? Who are you? Just pause here. Investigate. Does an answer come to you? Or is the answer, I don't know? Inhale, reach the arms up. Little back bend. Exhale, dive over the legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale all the breath out as you fold. Rise up on an inhale, little back bend. Exhale, palms to heart center. Feel the beating of the heart. Feel the great mystery inside yourself. We're going to come to the other side. So we'll begin again in Utkatasana, chair pose. Big toes could touch or feet or hips width distance, sitting back. And then lifting the arms. Breathing here. And then we're going to bring hands to heart center. And we're just going to get light in that right foot. And then lift the leg up. And we're going to step it way back to your high lunge. Finding that high lunge, you can bend the back knee, drop the tailbone, arms lift, you might straighten the back leg. Breathe here. Can you feel stability here? Can you feel the strength of that mountain pose even in this pose? Can you find the breath here? Tee out the arms, please. Twist towards that front bent knee. Front hand comes to the floor. Top arm lifts, big inhale. Exhale, frame the front foot with your hands and step it back to plank pose, please. Be in plank for a moment. Reach through the heels, reach through the crown of head. Drop the knees to the ground. Chest and chin are going to come forward and down. Scrub through a cobra. And we'll make our way back to down dog. Breathing there. So I'm just going to turn my body, but you guys stay where you're at in down dog. And then we'll find big toes to touch, please. Lift the right leg, bend the right knee. Stacking the right hip on top of left. Step the right foot right between the hands. And drop the back knee down. You can grab your blocks. Any height of block here. Sinking hips forward. Breathing there. Tuck the back toes. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten and fold. Inhaling, drop the back knee, lift the heart. Exhale, straighten and fold. Following your breath. No rush to get there, but next time the knee is down, leave it down. You might have padding under that back knee. We'll press ourselves up to the front knee. Sinking hips forward, you might lift the arms. You might lift the heart. And then lowering the hands back to the blocks. We'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and slide that foot to the ground. Now you'll spiral those arms up to Warrior Two, and you might need to adjust your feet. Front heel might bisect the back arch or heel. Right hand on the right thigh, left hand on the hip. Breathing here. And then reach the arms out, look over front middle finger. Reach as much through back fingers as front fingers. Back hand goes down the back leg, right arm palm up. Reach the right arm up. Peaceful warrior. And then straighten the front leg and tip forward, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Reach that arm forward, and then it comes to the leg, or it comes to a block on the outside of the leg. But roll that top shoulder open and lift the arm, and breathe here. Heart is open here. Can you feel some of the mountain pose here? Back hand to back hip, look to the floor in front of you. You're going to bend the front knee and step the back foot in a little. Bring the block in front of the pinky toe at least a foot forward. We'll rise up, lifting, stacking hip on top of hip, reaching through the heel, reaching through the fingertips, breathing here, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. And then bending the front knee, tipping back, reaching it back to Warrior Two. We'll straighten that front leg, parallel the feet now. And let's just come out of it for a moment. Let's swing the arms. And let's find that Tadasana, that mountain pose for another moment. So feet or hips width distance or big toes touching. Breathing there. Rolf Gates says, with the mind resting in effortless awareness, the body can arrive at effortless balance. With the body in effortless balance, the heart opens effortlessly. And he calls this a mountain moment. So having your mountain moment here, feeling the heart open, feeling the balance effortless, perhaps. And then we'll take one more wide straddle. Clasp the hands behind the back. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold. Knuckles rise overhead, perhaps. Let the hands go. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Making your way down, we're going to take a wide straddle next on the floor, seated on the floor. But before we do, just coming to child's pose. So facing the long edge of your mat. And knees can be wide, big toes touching, and lower yourself down. And breathing here in child's pose. Staying there, I'm just coming out, breathing. If you prefer to have your knees on a blanket, you're welcome to find a blanket. You might take your right foot and place it on top of your left foot. So the back of the right foot is on the sole of the left foot. And then you might walk your hands to the right. Richard Freeman says, yoga asana practice when done mindfully is a mini theater of the mind and heart, teaching both visceral and intellectual truths to the attentive. One more big breath there. And then begin to walk your hands to center. Please switch the feet so left foot is on top, and then walk the hands to the left. Breathing into that right side body, drawing the right hip crease back. One more big inhale and exhale there. And go ahead and walk hands to center. And next we'll find our way into a wide straddle. So coming down to a seat on your mat, and it might help to have a blanket folded up behind you. So you could fold it in half, and then fold it in half again. And that will just give you a nice raised edge to sit on. Sit right at the edge of the blanket and reach the legs out. So you're gonna take a wide straddle here, Upavista Konasana. And you may find that this isn't working for your body in that you're rounding your back a little. And if you're rounding your back, I recommend coming up on a block or even a book. And I'll just show that for those of you that it would be helpful too. Sitting up can help, and you can even keep knees bent here. And if you keep knees bent, toes still point straight up, but you're able to find a flatter back perhaps this way. So I recommend this if there's any rounding in the spine. Otherwise, you can be on your blanket and imagine that you're almost going to fall off of the blanket. So you're tipping forward with the sits bones. Feet are well flexed. And then we're just gonna walk our hands forward and pull on the floor. So we'll inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, pull on the floor, arch. Exhale, round. One more like that. Pull on the floor, inhale, arch. Exhale, round. You'll stay rounded here, breathing. You might find it's helpful to bring forearms onto blocks if you have them. Otherwise, you can bring forearms to the ground if that's accessible. Kind of pulling on the forearms or the hands if elbows are bent, and allow a little elongation of the spine. So we're not just rounding, we're also having just a little pull forward, and it's not to get anywhere. You're landing wherever you're at right now, and that's perfect. Sometimes forward folds can bring a little bit of ego into it where we want to go further, but can you just be right where you are right now? And then just deepen the breath. Perhaps coming back to that question, who am I? As we get into the physical part of the yoga, the body, we can go deeper and deeper into the physical. And then we can have a new experience of who we are. In a sense, from the inside out. We're exploring from the inside out. 3 more big breaths there. Slowly walking your hands back in. We're just going to take a little twist to the right. Coming back to center to the left. And then back to center. Go ahead and grab the outer thighs and we'll bring the feet towards one another. So this is called Badakanasana, butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. And you can just grab the ankles or the feet and lengthen through the spine. Big inhale there. And as you exhale, just begin to tilt forward with that flat back. Might just be a little bit, doesn't matter how far you go. Once you've gone as far as you can go with the flat back, then you can begin to round. Letting the head go. You could bring a block on top of the feet if you like, and bring the head to a block. Breathing into that. If you're very flexible, you may have your head on your feet. Can you breathe into the back body here? And then slowly, in your own time, press yourself up. We're going to find our way onto our backs. And just once you come down, give the knees a good squeeze. You could have a little rocking side to side. You could roll the ankles one way and roll them the other way. We're going to find a happy baby. So we're going to bring arms on the insides of the legs and then grab the outer pinky toe side of the feet. Knees are coming towards armpits. Feet are flexed towards the ceiling. You can grab onto the ankles as well if the feet don't feel too far away. Imagine that your tailbone is reaching on the floor in front of you, reaching away from you. Can you flatten that back to the floor? One more big inhale and exhale here. And then releasing the feet, hug the knees in again. Give yourself a big squeeze. We're going to let the left leg go long down the mat and take the left hand to the right knee. And then draw that the right knee across the body to the left. Tee out the right arm, maybe look to the right. Breathe into that twist. Coming back up to center, releasing that right leg, hug the left knee in. Right hand comes to the left knee, guide the left knee across the body, tee out the left arm, maybe look to the left. Slowly coming out. We'll give the knees one more squeeze. Reach the head up towards the knees. Big inhale. On an exhale, releasing the body. Have a full body stretch. Reaching arms overhead. And then find your Shavasana. So you might bend the knees, bring soles of the feet to touch. You could have knees bent and bring the knees to touch and feet wide. You could have legs long, or any version that works for you, any way of lying down. Allow yourself to fully release. Nothing left to do, but just relax. And before you fully relax, you might just come back to that idea. Who am I? The yogis, the ancient yogis, would say, when you ask that question, who am I, that you're not just your body. You're more than your body. Who am I? And then as you lie in this pose, which is also called corpse pose, you're just releasing, you're letting go. Even let go of that question. On your next exhale, nothing left to do, nothing left to think about. slowly begin to deepen the breath. Bring little movements to fingers and toes. You might reach the arms overhead and give the body a full body stretch. And then in your own time, bend the knees, roll to either side, pause there for a moment. With your hands, press yourself up to a seated position. And once again, you can sit in a chair or on the floor. Find a comfortable seat. You might want a blanket under you. And just notice. Allow the eyes to close or gaze to the floor. Notice any shifts since you first sat at the beginning of class. Any shifts in your mind, in your body. As you deepen the breath, maybe you notice a change in the breath. Maybe not, but just notice what's true for you in this moment. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese monk, says, "The way we start producing the medicine of mindfulness is by stopping and taking a conscious breath, giving our complete attention to our in-breath and our out-breath. When we stop and take a breath in this way, we unite body and mind and come back home to ourselves." So just stopping for a moment. No need to do anything, but notice the breath. And it might deepen on its own, but there's no need to do anything with the breath right now. Allow it to be free. Allow it to be spontaneous. When a thought comes into the mind, you can label it thinking. And just draw the focus back to the breath. And as another thought arises, you might have another thought. Who is doing the thinking? Who am I? And then you can let that go on your next exhale. thought might arise, and you don't have to follow it. You don't have to tell a story about it. You don't have to judge that you're thinking. You can just draw the focus gently back to the breath. If you're finding it hard to focus on the breath, you could notice something physical. What's moving as you breathe? What does the breath in and out of the nostrils feel like on your upper lip? Or what is expanding and contracting as you breathe? Just noticing what moves. On your next exhale, just letting that go, but continuing to stay inward, continuing to stay focused on the breath. Andrew Weiss says, if we truly don't know, if we keep ourselves truly open and free of concepts and ideas, we can approach each moment of our lives with freshness. We can see what is happening in the present moment without assumptions about the past or ideas about the future. Yes, it is frightening to cut ourselves loose from the moorings that way. It is also the door to freedom. Drawing palm against palm at heart center, feel the beating of your own heart. Feel the openness of your heart. Bow your head to this mystery, this great mystery within you. Honor it and honor your practice today. Big inhale through the nose. Let it go out the mouth. Allow eyes to slowly open. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this practice and hope to see you again soon, maybe online, maybe next month with Colby Art Museum, or maybe at School Street Yoga online. Take care.
I hope you have enjoyed today's program. And if you would like to spend a little bit more time with this artwork, I invite you to join us in 2 upcoming programs, Artful Meditation and Artful Healing. Be sure to like and follow us on all of our social media accounts at Colby Museum and visit us on our website, colby.edu/museum to stay updated on all upcoming events, programs, and so much more. Also, we have added in this semester, you can join our mailing list, Let Art Inspire, which is found on our website. Like always, from our museum home to yours, take care, and I'll see you next month for another Artful Movements.